Marcus and the Wooden Heart. Once upon a time, there lived a young man named Marcus, a hard-working fellow with a generous soul. And as for his heart, you couldn't find a purer heart in 7 villages. Our young man also had a beautiful sweetheart whom he loved beyond measure, as if his very soul was bound to hers. She had everything a man could want. His heart desired nothing more from life, for all that was good and beautiful was gathered in his beloved's eyes and smile. Because, as they say, he who has love and contented heart needs neither gold nor riches, for his soul is full of blessings. But alas, life's troubles don't pass you by even when your heart is pure as gold and your soul is clean. For one day, without warning, his dear sweetheart, whom he loved like the eyes in his head, left him suddenly for a man with money, leaving him with a broken heart and a soul full of longing. And from that day on, our poor fellow tried desperately to take his mind off her, to forget, to gather himself together, but in vain. The pain gnawed at his soul like a mouse gnaws at bread. As old Thomas, the village elder, used to say, he who loves with his whole heart must be prepared for it to hurt to the bone and to the soul. And one morning, poor Marcus, unable to bear the pain any longer, took heart and climbed high up the mountain, for he had heard from old Thomas that a magical creature lived there, unlike any other in the world. For Marcus, the poor soul, believed only through magic could he escape this torment that was eating his soul alive. And he climbed the tall mountain, gasping for breath, but with eyes full of hope. When he reached the top of the mountain, Marcus came upon a dark forest, and at the forest's edge he spotted an old woman dressed in black, her face lined with years and her eyes sparkling like embers hidden beneath ash. On her shoulder sat a large raven, black as coal, which seemed to watch the young man with knowing eyes. Marcus approached the old woman with hesitant steps and said in a voice broken with pain, "Please help me. My heart is broken, and I can no longer bear this longing, for my beloved has left me." The hag seemed to be waiting to hear justice from the young man's mouth, for suddenly a wide grin spread across her face, like a crack through which darkness poured. "You've come to the right place, young man," she answered in a thin voice, like the rustling of dry leaves. "But know this, the only cure for a broken heart is time. Only time truly heals." Then she leaned toward him with sparkling eyes. "But I can help you too. Don't you worry. Give me your wounded heart, and I'll give you a better one. A wooden heart, young man, a heart that knows not suffering or longing." When Marcus heard he could escape suffering and longing, that was all he needed, and he agreed, as if someone had thrown a lifeline in the middle of murky waters. Then the hag immediately pulled out from under her skirts an old chest, eaten away by time. When she opened it with an ominous creak, inside lay a wooden heart, smooth and cold, gleaming like a piece of freshly carved beech. "Look, boy," said the hag in a thick voice that seemed to come from the earth itself. "This is the heart that knows no suffering. Touch it with your hand, and it is yours." Without wasting time, the young man touched it, and whoosh! Marcus's heart leaped out and landed in the hag's chest, while the wooden heart settled quietly in the boy's breast. When the hag saw this miracle, quick as the wind, she closed the lid of the chest, lest the young man change his mind. "Done, boy! A deal's a deal," she said quickly. "Off you go now." And our young man left the mountain hag, walking slowly with drooping shoulders, and he had escaped the pain, for the wooden heart now beat in his chest. But the hag hadn't told him the whole truth. The wooden heart not only no longer felt longing and the pain of lost love, but it no longer felt joy or the thrill of life either. Simply put, it felt nothing at all, as if his soul had stuck to wood. The hag, exceedingly pleased, turned to her raven and said, "Marion, take care of this heart as you would your own eyes, for rarely have I been given such a good heart." Then what do you see? The raven transformed into a beautiful young woman, who was servant to hag, and did exactly as the hag told her. She kept her eyes like a hawk's on the chest with Marcus's heart. She didn't let it out of her sight for a moment, but as she cared for the young man's heart, she felt his goodness. And how much good Marcus had once done, how much heart he had put into helping others. And with time, without meaning to, she began to care for this boy, as if his heart, even from inside the box, responded to her care and her gaze full of warmth. And what was our young man doing during this time? Well, not much of anything. For from the pride of the village, the young man with a heart so big and kindness enough to fill 2 villages, Marcus became a loner. He no longer lent anyone a helping hand. He no longer listened to the troubled and sought to be alone. And the villagers began to whisper among themselves, "Woe is Marcus! What has become of the young man who was once the pride of the village?" And so Marcus became a stranger to the sorrows of the village people. When he saw some old man or woman toiling with a bent back or sign from poverty, his heart no longer stirred even a little. He no longer jumped to help them, didn't even give a kind word. The poor old folk looked at him with eyes full of wonder and longing for help. But Marcus, with his wooden heart, passed by them like wind through leaves, feeling nothing. But if Marcus felt nothing, his heart felt, and Marion, who guarded it, felt too. And slowly, day by day, Marion grew very fond of Marcus while caring for his heart. Then a wild idea took root in her mind, one that only a girl with a great soul and much courage could have. And one day, when the hag had gone off on business along who knows what dark paths, Marion took hold of the chest with a determination rarely seen. She clutched it to her breast like a treasure and ran down the village to bring the young man his heart back. She ran as if the ground were burning beneath her feet, with thoughts only of Marcus, hoping with all her soul that once he had his heart back, the young man of old would return too. Arriving in the village, Marion's eyes darted everywhere, searching for the young man. And what do you see? She found Marcus sitting on a log at the side of the road, his gaze lost in the distance, as if the whole world no longer touched him with even a speck of dust. An old woman then passed by him, barely holding a heavy bucket of water. "Marcus, my boy, give me a hand, I can't go on," she said to him in a pleading voice. But the young man didn't even blink, didn't even turn his head. He sat motionless, cold as a boundary stone. Marion's heart tightened in her chest when she saw Marcus so cut off from the world, without a breath of human kindness in him. Then she approached him slowly and spoke to him in a sweet voice. "Look, Marcus, I've brought you your heart back." The young man slowly raised his eyes to her. They were empty, without spark, without light. He looked at the chest, then at Marion, but didn't reach out his hand. "I don't want to suffer anymore, nor to long for anything," he said in a dead voice, like a candle at its end. "Can't you see? This way nothing hurts me." Then Marion took a step closer and spoke to him firmly. "Don't you see, Marcus, that everyone around you suffers when they see you like this, that you have no more joy, no mercy, no light in your eyes? You're empty, boy, empty as a dried-up nut." But Marcus said nothing, not a twitch, not a word. He sat like wood with his eyes fixed on the distance, as if Marion's words had been lost in the wind. Seeing this, Marion felt her stomach tighten with frustration. She slowly set the chest down by Marcus's feet, as if putting down her last hope. She looked at him for a moment with eyes full of affection, then took a step back, then another, until she turned onto the path. With a heart heavy as stone, she left back toward the hag's house, trembling with fear. She knew all too well that the mountain hag was harsh and unforgiving, and Marion's worry was justified, for she found the hag black with anger, blacker than the heavy clouds that gather before a storm. As soon as the hag spotted her, she didn't even let her approach properly, and with eyes sparkling like embers and hair bristling with rage, she burst out, "You foolish girl, you've left me without my treasure." Marion stammered, trying to find her words. I only wanted to— Silence! Screamed the hag, and the ground seemed to vibrate beneath her cry. With your weak will and your soft head, you've ruined what was bound by promise. The hag raised a gnarled arm, and with it rose a harsh curse. Foolish girl with little sense, may you lose the use of your legs. May you never see the high heavens again. On the ground you'll crawl as long as you live. And beneath the fierce eyes of the mountain hag, Marion's body stretched like thread. Her arms and legs shrank, coiling as if in a knot, and her skin covered with shiny scales, black as coal. In an instant, where there had been a girl with gentle eyes and a great soul, there remained only a thin serpent trembling, which crawled on the ground helplessly, unable to utter a word. Meanwhile, Marcus sat peacefully on his log, his eyes fixed on the distance, unaware of Marion's bitter fate. It seemed nothing in the world moved him anymore. But what do you see? His true heart, locked in the hag's chest, trembled and quivered. The chest moved a little, as if the heart was trying to cry out. Boy, wake up. You cannot remain indifferent. And just then Marcus felt a strange shiver in his wooden chest, a slight pang, then an overwhelming longing. A mixture of pity, care, and wonder crept through his whole body. He approached the chest slowly, reached out his hand, and opened it. Then he touched his true heart. Whoosh! A warm wave enveloped him from head to toe. The wood in his chest melted slowly, as if it had never been there, and his heart settled back in place peacefully. And then Marcus felt everything again: joy, pity, longing, love, and even pain. Everything returned to him like a storm. He clutched the chest tightly, then sighed deeply with eyes full of tears. Oh, Lord, I feel again, I can feel again. And then Marcus felt all of Marion's love and care flooding his soul. He put his hand to his chest and sighed deeply with a trembling voice. Marion, you saved me from a dry life without joy. And just as you saved me, I must save you too, he added with determination. Without second thoughts, he climbed back up the mountain, which was now covered with black clouds, heavy and full of storm, probably from the mountain hag's anger. The wind cut across his face, but Marcus didn't stop. When he reached the top, he was met with a sight that made him start. Marion was no longer human nor raven, but black serpent, slippery and ugly, which slithered among the rocks and hissed small sounds. Marcus looked for a moment at the serpent struggling on the stones. His heart leaped with pity and love, for though she looked different, he knew who she truly was. Without hesitation, he bent down and carefully took the serpent in his arms, like a fragile flower, and whispered in a warm voice, Just as you care for my heart, so will I care for you, Marion. And as if understanding the words, the serpent calmed in Marcus's arms. Even though her body was black and ugly, Marion's soul responded to his touch, feeling protected and loved. Marcus slowly started back down the path to the village, with Marion held close to his chest. And so, Marcus returned to being the young man of old, hard-working and generous, who jumped first to help anyone in need, whether old person or child. Only now, all the time by his side, was a black serpent. Years passed like this, 1, 2, even 3, and the village rang with voices and hurried footsteps, with people gathering for the field work, children running through the lanes, and old folk making the sign of the cross at the morning sun. But one day on the village lane, something unexpected happened. The mountain hag came to the village. She walked with determination, her hair bristling, her eyes sparkling with fury and magic, and she stopped right in front of Marcus's house. 20 for the air seemed to tighten around her, as if the heavy clouds of the mountain had descended after her. And with critical eyes, the hag looked at Marcus and bellowed at him with a thunderous voice. Well, boy, aren't you tired of taking care of that serpent? Marcus raised his head straight, his eyes full of determination, and answered without fear. No, Annie, this serpent is Marion, and as she is, serpent or not, My heart loves her, and I will never give up on her." The hag put her hands to her head, sighed deeply, and swayed slightly. Oh, my boy, I didn't expect this, for someone to care so much for Marion, her being a serpent." She stopped for a moment, as if wrestling with what should come next. Then she said decisively, "Well, you too have brought me great vexation, boy. I've been left without my servant, and without your good heart." The hag spoke, shaking her head like a vexed mother hen. "But if you two don't want to be parted, what use is there in tormenting you further?" She cleared her throat, passed her palm through the air as if cutting something invisible, and added, "So I shall lift the curse from Marion, let her be human again, and you too shall live as it is written." And with these words, the mountain hag raised a hand and made a sign through the air. In an instant, Marion regained her beautiful body as a girl, with clear eyes and hair shining in the sun, and Marcus embraced her with heart full of joy. And so, Marion escaped the curse, and their happiness knew no bounds. In the days that followed, the two lived as in a fairy tale. They walked smiling through the village, talked for hours on end, and rejoiced in every moment together. And naturally, after so much joy, they had a grand and beautiful wedding, the like of which the village had never seen. The lanes were decorated with flowers. Children ran merrily among the long tables, and the smell of freshly cooked food floated in the air. The whole village came to the celebration, with cheerful people and old folk who watched them with pride. Even Marion's mother and brother came from a neighboring village. They celebrated for 3 days and 3 nights with singing, dancing, and good cheer, and Marcus and Marion were at the center of all gazes, smiling and embracing everyone. And from then on, the two lived hard-working and generous lives, as befits good people with big and brave hearts, helping anyone in need and spreading kindness throughout their village. The end. And I've mounted my horse and told you my tale. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening to this story all the way through. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe so you won't miss any of the stories to come.